Hey everyone, I'm Cameron from speedcubeshop.com, and today I'm doing our first video in our brand new Las Vegas studio. So it's really exciting, and let me know what you guys think of the audio and video quality in the comment section down below. Today we'll be taking a look at the new DianSheng Solar S 5x5 sample. Really excited for this one because the Solar S series is getting to be known as being a pretty reasonably priced but good performance kind of budget series from DianSheng, and the 5x5 is no exception. I will say that so far CubeSolve Hero and myself have tried this sample out, and we are both pretty blown away by the overall performance. Unfortunately, because I am in the middle of a move, I do not have my measurement calipers, but it does feel like it is a pretty reasonable size, and the weight, it's not heavy but it's also not extremely light. It's a pretty good weight though. The weight is mostly centered in the core, which, as you guys know if you've been watching me for a while, I do tend to like a more core-centric weight. It kind of helps with the overall stability, especially on the inner layers. Looking at the color scheme really quickly, everything is a nice balance of shades. So we have good contrast between the green and the blue, and then the yellow and the, the white and the yellow, and then the orange and red. So everything looks really good and is really nice for recognition. If you are familiar with the Solar S 3x3, the shades are the same. As I'm doing these turns, you can kind of hear that it's a pretty quiet and glidey sound. So take a listen. So really not a lot of noise, very smooth, not a lot of resistance, and a very buttery turning feel, which I really enjoy on these bigger cubes especially. One interesting note is the design on the pieces. So you can kind of see right here this interesting hex almost pattern, kind of similar to the Gans honeycomb but not quite, and which carries its way throughout all of the inner layers. And then another interesting note is you can see these little tabs right here, which if for some reason you ever have to replace the colors, I guess you can just pop the tab out and get the pieces apart pretty easily. Taking a look underneath the center cap, let me see if I can even reach, there we go. Very interesting design center cap. It's a nice deep design, so I don't anticipate this will be falling out on you. And then you have a very tiny little screw right there, so pretty easy access for adjustment if needed. The only tricky part is getting the cap back in. It does take a little bit of resistance, so be careful if you do take yours out. On the note of tensions, the overall corner cutting is really nice on this tester sample. I presume that the final version will be tensioned relatively similar. I mean, it's corner cutting pretty decently over a piece. Reverse corner cutting is where it kind of falls flat. I'm struggling with even half of a piece, so not too much in the department of reverse corner cutting, but I haven't really found that to be too much of an issue. The overall stability of the puzzle is surprisingly good. It does lock up and bind a little bit, which might be in part due to my sloppy turning. The magnets are a pretty light to moderate feel. The magnet strength is very consistent throughout all 5 layers, which I love. I'm not really a big fan of when a big cube has super strong outer magnets and really weak inners, or the opposite. It's really nice when it's a consistent magnet strength. The overall layer speed is really nice. The outer layer is pretty quick, bordering on being a bit uncontrollable for someone like me with my turning style, but I do think that majority of you guys are gonna love the speed. The inner layers are a nice controllable speed, and this is not set up or lubricated, by the way. It just is however it came out of the box. With some setup, I anticipate it being a bit more refined, a little bit more buttery, maybe even slightly more quiet, and a little bit easier to turn. So overall, I'll do a solve really quick and leave you guys with my final impressions. And there we go. I'm a bit rusty on big cubes. It's been a little bit while since I've solved one, but overall I really did enjoy the solving experience. I do expect this to be around the $20 range, and if it does end up falling in that price point, I think it's a very appropriate price given the performance. I was getting a little bit of binding and lockups, but again, for what I'm expecting this to cost, I say it's a very reasonable deal. I think a lot of you guys will really like this as a stepping stone up to the premium flagship models. So that is about it for the DianSheng Solar S 5x5 magnetic. We will have a link in the description box down below, and also somewhere up here when this is available on speedcubeshop.com for purchase. If you have any questions about this product or anything else, as usual, feel free to leave a comment right down below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks. Bye.